Welcome back to another edition of the Pitch, Putt, and Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Before we get into it, though, I always got to give a quick shout out to 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road in Troy, New York, right up in the Walmart Plaza. Make sure you stop in there, check them out. Flowers, pre-rolls, edibles, tincture, vapes, you name it, they got it. Let them know that the Pitch, Putt, and Puff crew sent you. Today, we're going back out to the West Coast. I'm going to be going in the female golf side of it, and we're going to have Audrey from Fore Left. What's going on, Audrey? Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to be here. You guys are my first golf podcast, by the way. So
Nice.
shout out to you.
Awesome. Yeah, now I got all three of the Fore Left crew on here, so completing the cycle. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into golf?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like instilled into me when I grew up. My mom hates this story, but it's actually hilarious. When my mom was having me, giving birth, my dad was on the golf course. So his ex-wife had to go and get him and bring him to the hospital, and then I was born. So literally since day one that I could walk, I had a putter and just, the fake wood, like plastic clubs and
Yep.
just out with my dad. And it was always just a thing, a special thing I spent with my dad. It was our time at the clubhouse, our time at the pro shop. And he always gave me cherry colas. So I was like a happy little kid while he just hung out with his friends and, but since then I just was competitive. I grew up dancing as well. So I always wanted to be competing. And then I got into junior golf and then high school golf. And yeah, ever since then, I've just been, enjoying the retired golf life, not trying to be as competitive, but,
sure.
Still beat the guys.
And I love to hear it too, because we were just talking about, I have a 6-year-old and I got her the clubs for Christmas, and she's in the dance, she's in basketball, softball, the whole 9 yards. And I can see it already that she's going to be competitive. For example, like the basketball program she's in, they still shoot on 10-foot hoops. It's an older school, so they can't lower the hoops and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So most places you go, they're down to 8 feet so the kids can make a basket. Well, she was determined to make a basket this year. So the last practice, she goes, before we got out of the car, she's like, Dad, I'm going to make one today. I have to. It's the last one. She didn't, but she stayed for like 10, 15 minutes after practice and just sat there and shot and jumping as high as she could. I'm like, kiddo, you don't have to make this today. Like, we're okay. Like, no, Dad, I'm going to make one. After like 5 more shots, I was like, I had to go explain to her, like, it's okay to not do it today.
Yeah.
And then she kind of understood and was like, all right. But now I have the hoop in the driveway. So if it's not any, sun's out at all, she's grabbing the basketball and she's trying to shoot. Well, I lowered it down to 9 feet. So now she's making them. She's like, Dad, look at me go. I'm like, you got it, girl. Just to boost the confidence,
Yeah. I love it. And, once she sees that and has that satisfaction with golf and like making those putts or just like those really solid chips, she's going to be just as addicted, because that's how I got started.
Yep.
My party trick has always been my drive shot. I can beat a lot of guys off the tee box. So that's always like my fun thing. But, like she's going to find it and she's going to fall just as in love with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because same thing though. She got the little tyke set, the little plastic ones. We hit those around the yard. And in the summer, I live on the lake. So in the summertime, we have a golf cart that we cruise around the lake with and everything else. So she'll drive it around. So I bought her like a little tykes one. And like a power wheels. So she'll drive it around the yard, pull out the club, hit it, drive up to the next one and hit it again. I'm just sitting there like pulling weeds or mowing the lawn, and I'm looking at her like, okay, I'm gonna have something to do. So that was last year. So this Christmas I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna get her a set. And then one night a week, I'll bring her out. We'll play a couple holes, stay at everybody's way, let her putt around, just to get into it, to see how she feels. It's tough up here in the winter because it's so cold. So I brought her to the simulator once, and about 30 minutes in, she was checked out. And I don't blame her, because I'm about the same way with those. So I get it.
Yeah.
Playing a video game for the most part.
Right. She just enjoys being outdoors more than anything.
That's what it is, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
So you said you lived right on a golf course too, right?
Yeah. So my dad, I grew up in Nebraska. I've been in California for 13 years now, though. My dad, you could look out our front window and see cows. So it's like farmland. And then you look at our back window and you'd see hole number 4. So he built our house right on the golf course so he could have his favorite little thing to do outside of work. And yeah, now it's just been a hobby and lifestyle for us.
That's awesome. The best of both worlds. You got your farm in the front and your course in the back.
Yeah, but I had to get out of that small city life.
I understand that. That's what I'm dealing with up here. Everybody, I tell people I'm from New York, so they think automatically the city. I mean, I'm in Albany, so it's somewhat city, but it's a lot rural, suburbs kind of thing. So nothing like the Times Square aspect of New York at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually took Brian back last summer to my hometown and we played our home course. And like it sat basically empty for a long time. Like COVID hit them hard, unfortunately, as a
Hmm.
business. And a couple years ago, they got a new owner, so now they're restoring it. We couldn't play the full course, but it was just nice to have Brian play like a nostalgia golf course for me because that's
Right.
literally where it started in Norfolk, Nebraska. So
That's crazy,
yeah.
especially so young to get into it. Because I didn't start playing. I'm 40. I didn't start playing until about 5, 6 years ago. So I'm like, that's
Hmm.
part of the reason I'm glad I'm getting my daughter in young because of. I mean, you see it on Instagram, and I mean, on the LPGA, these girls they're golfing. They're doing big things and starting so
Oh
young.
my gosh, yeah, and they are golfing though. Like, did you watch the golf tournament this
I
weekend? Nelly
watched
Corda
parts of it.
won.
I watched parts of it. Yeah, I see Nelly won again. She's unbelievable. She really is.
Hmm. Yeah, those girls, they can really golf. Like when they're sitting there shooting their 7 iron like 180 yards, I'm just mind blown. I'm like,
Hmm.
how? How?
Yeah, I mean they're hitting it further than me. Some of them, it's like wow. I mean, and I'm 6'2", 190 pounds. I should be hitting a little bit further than some of these women. But it's just that's the thing. Like I noticed, like having the daughter, I start watching a little bit more female sports, and
Hmm.
the fundamentals, like the women's college basketball, like the LSU Iowa game is in Albany tonight, my hometown.
Hmm.
So the place is going like the city of Albany's rocking right now for these games.
I
It's the
believe
big,
it.
it's the biggest thing we've had, and I couldn't tell you how long. And
Hmm.
just watching the fundamentals though, the fundamental bounce pass, the boxing out, like then you turn on a men's game and it's like a little bit more street ballish, which I
Hmm.
get because of the style, but like the same thing with the women. When they're golfing, their hands are in the right place. They're, everything is just so fundamental. Where the guys
Hmm.
are a little bit more lackadaisical and because of their, physicalness or whatever, they can get away with certain things where the women can't. So they use that and they know that. And it makes a
Hmm.
huge difference. It really does.
Yeah, and you just watch their swings, and it looks like they're barely putting any power behind it. But it's just because they are so structured within their swing and know how to make that contact. And I'll get there. Just
It's just
wait.
it's just time. It's time. I see you off the tee. I see all the videos you guys put up. I see you getting off the tee there. I hear Brian
Yeah.
in the back. Man, you all drove me on that one.
Oh, for sure. And it's always so fun though. And like that's where I get my competitiveness like from. I grew up with three older brothers as well. So it's, we all golfed.
Yep.
And so always just trying to beat the guys was my thing. It was never like, I'm gonna go play with my girlfriends. It's like, no, I want to go play the guys. Like,
Yep.
how can I stack up to the guys? Just because you wouldn't see a lot of girl golfers. And if you did, they would just like skip a hole or two or just be with their husbands and
Yep.
just, out
Uh,
for fun where I just want to hit golf balls. Like I want to play.
yeah, they're out there for the ride and the suntan where you're actually being competitive about it. And that's what I
Yeah.
noticed, like even up here, like a lot of my buddies' wives are like, oh, they see us going out to play all the time, so they want to go play. And then you notice, like on a Tuesday night, there's like we got couples going out to play sometimes. So, like my wife will come out maybe once or twice a year. But then when she
Hmm.
heard a couple of my buddies' wives like, hey, we might go play golf this weekend, and she's had my wife's golfed longer than I have. She's got clubs the whole 9 yards. So she's like, oh, maybe I'll go
Same.
with the girls. I'm like, go for it. I want you to go. Like, go out and start golfing. Then it makes it a little bit easier when I'm like, hey, you want to go golf, or we'll bring the little one. Now the three of us can go out and do it. And
Yep.
it's a memory builder for all of us if it turns into something like that, which is
Yeah, of
cool as hell.
course. Of course. That's me and Brian's favorite thing to do. Like once he told me he wanted to start golfing, like I took a 10-year hiatus. I just because like I was getting so competitive, I saw what I needed to do, but I had to make this hard choice between do I want to be a professional dancer or do I want to be a professional golfer and go college wise because then I
Mm-hmm.
had to really be serious my senior year. And I chose dance, of course, like that's why I moved out to Cali.
Right.
But, it left a sour spot with my coach and my dad. So I just kind of just quit and was just like, whatever. Then it's not for me. But
Right.
then when Brian was like, I want to golf, it just really ignited my love for golf again and how like peaceful it is for me in a
Mm-hmm.
way. Even though I'm so competitive, it's just such a mind calming game for me.
It is. It's it because it challenges you in different ways than like any other sport that I played. Like I was a football, baseball, basketball guy, and
Hmm.
just like the mental aspect of golf compared to basketball or baseball, like I said earlier, you can just go out there and kind of use your physical ability and do it. Golf, it's like,
Hmm.
all right, I got to aim here, I got to do this. There's so many things going on, and that's what he was trying to explain to XG. Is there's just so many things going on that you got to put it all together, and that's what makes it so difficult about it.
Hmm.
And the fact that it's literally like, you know, being crazy, but or insane. You're doing the same thing over and over, but you're doing it a different way, which is, you know, it sounds crazy, but it is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And you just have to keep repeating that until you
Hmm.
finish the hole and then on to the next. And
That's
you just
literally,
repeat.
that's what I tell people. Like when I have buddies start, like a couple of my coworkers are just getting into it this year, and I tell them like, listen, front arm straight, head down, and keep your front foot still because they're all baseball players, so they want to move that foot. And
Yep, they want to swing through too.
yep. So I start
Mm-hmm.
doing that with them, and then like slowly just like progress. So the one kid's starting to pick it up pretty good. We've been to the range 2 or 3 times, but then the one guy, he's a baseball player, so his foot's moving every time. I'm like, bro, just calm down. And he's swinging as hard as he can, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So it's reminded me of myself 6 years ago trying to kill the ball, and I'm only hitting like 160 yards, and it's going 200 yards to the right.
Oh yeah. Every time. Like when we when I started golfing back up with Brian, like we both were just trying to crush the ball. And we thought we were doing so well. And it's crazy because we actually started filming our swings back in the day, but we weren't posting them. It
Yep.
was just so we could see like what we looked like golfing. And if I was to ever do a comparison video of Brian's first swing to now, it is unreal. Like the work that that man puts into golf is like it's dedication. It's
Yep.
admirable for sure. So like even myself too, just where I've came, just because I picked up my old habits again and I'm downswinging on my ball or I'm reaching too much and it's just going straight up and to the right, straight up and
Hmm.
to the right, you know? So just a challenge and now we have all these simulators in our house.
I see
So
that.
I have no excuse.
I see that. I seen a video the other day. He posted. He was sitting there in the living room, hitting the irons into the simulator, into the screen. I'm like,
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, just this morning or yesterday, I was in the shower and he was sitting out in the living room, and then all of a sudden I hear this bang, bang. I'm like, oh, he's hitting the golf balls again.
that's awesome. That's awesome. So when you got, he reached out to me, said you wanted to hop on, and
Yeah.
you wanted to talk about the women's clothing in golf and how it's
Yeah.
just not it.
Yeah. It's really not. And it's hard because I understand where businesses are going with trying to be more of a fashion lifestyle, clothing line. Totally love that. Just so that everyone can have something to wear. But it's also the performance behind it.
Right.
Is it going to be too hot? Is it too thin? Am I going to get sunburnt through it? Is it actually rainproof or water resistant? Those are the things I look for. But then when you go to these brands that do hit those points, it's all boxy and very manly made. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, how do we build this disconnect, and have this really good in between? And, there's some brands coming out that are trying to do that, like For All, like they're really like expanding, but it's, also a term of cost.
Right.
Coffee's just so expensive to begin with. And then
Mm-hmm.
to buy a polo for $80, like, I'm sorry, like I won't,
That's
I,
craziness. Yeah, hats are
I
60
can't.
bucks for a hat. Like that's crazy. Like it's absolutely
Yeah.
insane some of the prices. And sometimes it's because it's got a swoosh on it or an Under Armour sign or whatever the case may be, but you can go and find something even better quality what they offer in different
Hmm.
places. But I get what you're saying with like the women's stuff. Because it was funny when he mentioned that you wanted to come on about that last year when my wife said she wanted to start golfing again. I went out and I stopped over to Dick's Sporting Goods and started looking at some stuff, and I was like, man, there's really not anything here that I think she would wear. And like, it's hard enough as a
Hmm.
guy picking out women's clothes as it is. So to
Yeah.
like go through the racks and I'm like, I really don't see anything. Like, I don't think she'd be out there in like a skirt. I think she'd probably wear pants. Like it was that whole thing too. Like, okay, like some women might not be comfortable rocking a skirt the whole time and
Hmm.
vice versa. So there is a lot of different things. I noticed is that a high society shirt you've been wearing?
It is. It
Yep.
is. Oh wait, this side.
Yep.
This like for me, they just sampled this. So this is like I'm trying it out. I'm fitting it, like just see how the feel is. And honestly, their material is it's so
It's
good.
top. It's top
Yeah.
notch. I actually, I do another podcast, the Upstate Golf Guys.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so he jumped on there because of the cannabis stuff, and he deals with the junior leagues. So I totally get it.
Hmm.
I reached out to him to come on here, and then he didn't want to, because of that. I was like, I have another option. I seen the stuff. I seen you guys rocking it. I wanted to see what it was all about. So he sent me a hat, a couple shirts. The
Hmm.
quality and the thing with that too is the pricing is so realistic and reasonable, especially in today's society where people are struggling as it is. Who's going
Yep.
to go spend $100 on a polo? Like, let's be
Hmm.
realistic here. I
Yeah.
mean, and once I seen it and like got opened up the package and felt the quality, I was like, this is unbeatable,
Mm-hmm.
unbeatable.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I love that they reached out to me specifically and were like, hey, if we're gonna send you these samples, let me know. And honestly, the moment I touched them, I'm like, yep, this is good. Like
yep,
the sizing is good too, because also when you think about sizes, it's small, medium, large. Okay, but what is that small like? Because sometimes the small is too big on me, sometimes the small is too small on me. So just
right,
making sure that that's a consistent thing across the board. And honestly, I'm obsessed. I only have two from them, so this is my first time showing it off on this
yep.
podcast. So you guys are seeing it here first.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with it and just to get some more good clothing in women's hands. I don't want to, promote something where it's going to break your bank either because
right.
I live in LA. Inflation's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna promote an $80 polo. I'm so sorry.
Right. I mean, you guys are what, paying $6, $7 for gas as it is. Like that's insane. Absolutely
Yep.
insane.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he came on with us. Pete's an awesome dude. He came on, chopped it up, hooked us up with some stuff. Shout out to him for that. I'll be rocking on
Hmm.
the course just because of like on a 90-degree summer day up here in upstate New York, it gets real humid, but that
Yep.
material is going to keep you nice and cool as well. So like those are the things I look at when I'm buying a shirt. Same thing with the size for me. I'm 6'2". If I buy a Nike large shirt, yeah, it's gonna fit like up here, but when I go to put my arms above my head, my stomach's hanging out because it's too short. But then the extra
Yep.
large will be all baggy under my arms. So when I'm going back to swing, I feel all, caught up. So I totally understand what you're saying from the women's
Hmm.
clothing.
Yeah, and even just joggers and just pants and shorts alone, those are just hard to make for anyone. And I feel like the men now have it really, really well. Like there's a
Hmm.
lot of good men's joggers out there. So it's like now we really need to focus on the ladies because it's either too baggy or they look too athletic, and a lot of courses don't allow that, you
Right,
know?
right.
And then the shorts, not everyone wants tight short shorts, so or long, like those old school Bermuda shorts that were trending back in like 2000s. It's
Yep.
like absolutely not, we don't want long
The
shorts
one
either.
the senior women out there pushing their carts are wearing. Yeah, I know exactly what you're
Yes.
talking about.
Bless their heart.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's just such a heart in between. And I've just like lately I've just been buying a lot of tennis outfits and going to Forever 21, going to Amazon, honestly. I'm
Yep.
finding better things there than I would, you know, spending a top dollar for one polo. I can get four or five things for that same
Hmm.
cost.
Yeah, because I'm looking actually right now to do some merch, and I'm going through the process of trying to find the quality I want. I mean, I'm not going to try to be like high society or swing juice or any of those guys. I really just want polos for the guys out there, just to rep the brand, maybe sell a couple locally if people,
Yeah.
guess kind of thing, whatever. But I don't want it to be, a Gildan t-shirt and that's gonna you wear it once and it shrinks. I want it to be something that's gonna
Yeah.
last you at least the season, get a whole season out of it. But I've probably had 3 or 4 different samples that I've got, and I'm like, okay, this one's okay, but it's not what I'm looking for. Or I put on the large and it fits like a medium, and I put on the extra large and it fits like a 2X. I'm like, okay, where's the middle that's actually going to fit me, the one I'm going to need to wear? So
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand that because I've been doing the same thing, and it is tough to find good quality, just products in general. For
Yeah.
for a reasonable price, to because like I said, I'm not trying to make money off it. It's just kind of,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get them embroidered and send them off to the guys, but it's still like, okay, I'm gonna get it and then it's gonna start to like pill up on the front after one wash or something stupid. I don't want that. And
Hmm. Yeah.
it's a tough game. The clothing game is a tough industry to even get involved in.
Yeah, of course, because it does feel saturated, obviously, because everyone wants clothing, of course, but it's trying to find that way to stand apart. And also just that process of trying to start, like you were saying, is so long just because you have to deal with the manufacturers. Sometimes it takes a minute, sometimes it's overseas, and there's
Yep.
holidays that we don't participate in that they do, and it's like, okay, so now we have a 30-day break, so what do we do? It's
Yep.
a lot that goes into it that people don't understand. It's not just, oh, I like this shirt and this is my logo and I'm going to slap it on here and now we're going to sell it. Like there's a lot behind the scenes, and a lot of companies use European sizes, which also is
Yep. I
slightly
just learned
different.
that.
So, yep, that's where you're probably seeing that disconnect between the large and the medium for
That's
your
what it was
men's.
too. Yep. Exactly it.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh man, but yeah. So with the thing though too, like I noticed is the past like we'll say 5 years, like the men's clothing has really changed though because like you said, the joggers weren't really a thing. You see more hoodies on the golf course where you would have never seen a hoodie on the golf course before,
Yep.
stuff like that where it's getting more a little bit more casual. Um, I think maybe in the next few years they'll probably start to. I'm hoping anyway, it'll start to transition to the women's line for you guys, but
Mm-hmm.
and start going that route. I think it's just a matter of time. But like I too totally understand what you're saying with the limited selection. Just from my experience of walking through Dick's that one day, and I was like, "There's not a single item in here that I think I that she would wear." And let
Mm-hmm.
alone if I get one, I don't want to pay $75 for a cut off polo. It's like this is
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like for me back in the day when I was competing, I didn't really care what I wore. It was shorts, I was comfortable, I was really focused on my game. But like now, just with social media and I'm a makeup artist as well. Like I like to look good. So it's like a
Yeah,
look good, feel good situation. So I want to buy clothes that like make me look good. Also, I'm not gonna just buy a boxy shirt just because it's a golf shirt and it's a big brand.
exactly.
Not me.
Exactly. All right, let's get into a little bit of golf here. So I like to wrap up with these few questions.
Yeah.
What's your favorite club in the bag?
Ooh, right now it's my driver. It's my custom
Okay,
fit Ultra driver. It's honestly amazing. It's their 1.0, so it's not their 2.0. But yeah,
the
that
driver.
thing, yep, oof, that thing will get me places.
Nice. Do you use it off the
Yes.
deck too?
I haven't been successful with that. I'm also a little scared to try just because I don't want to like break my driver, like
Yeah.
smash down. Like I'm one of those like nervous golfers. But Brian, that man, DOD, he can get that.
Yeah, my one buddy does it as well, and he hits it so clean and so pure. I'm like, dude, you might as well just not even tee up your drive half the time and just hit it off the deck. You're getting more distance sometimes. Just letting it
Yeah,
go. Yeah,
yeah. One day
that's
I'll get it.
yeah. Mine's my 7 iron, just because of the versatility I have with it. I can hit a bump and run with it. I can get it out there 180, 190 consistently. But I can do a lot with it. So I'm comfortable with it. Pretty much
Yeah.
everybody's favorite club for the most part. It's the most neutral club. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you've played LA courses, Nebraska courses. What's your favorite course you ever played?
Ooh, honestly, it might be this one we just played this last summer in South Dakota.
Okay.
It was a 9-hole course, but it was built on top of a huge hill. And we don't have mountains in the Midwest, they're plains,
Right.
but it was built on top of it, and you could see the river there, and just the scenery with it was immaculate. And like the grass was so nice. Just because out here in LA, there's a lot of dead grass and patches, and we also dealt with a lot of landslides and rain. So
Mm-hmm.
golf courses really aren't up to par right now.
Yeah.
But I think it was in South Dakota, man. Like it was just so peaceful.
Nice. Yeah, I played Slick Rock down in Texas. Probably an hour and a half outside of Austin. I was down there for a wedding. We played the day before the wedding. About 20 guys
Mm.
out there. It was the legit PGA style course where something like that you're not going to see in upstate New York. So by
Right.
far, and I mean there was a couple snakes out there that I wasn't accustomed to. So I'm not a big fan of snakes. So I was made sure to hop right back in that cart and keep it moving.
Oh
I'll
yeah, if your ball goes anywhere out here in California, there are courses where it says be careful of rattlesnakes, or if your ball crosses here, don't look for it. Just because
yeah.
it is like now it is snake season, snakes are coming out. So
Oh,
if you lose it, just forget about it, drop it like a good solid 6 to 10 feet away and you're fine.
yeah, absolutely. I actually walked. I'm terrified of snakes, and I took my daughter to a birthday party of a classmate the other day, and they had like a reptile lady there, and there's like this. I don't even know 6 foot. I literally turned around. I grabbed her. I walked out. I said, "Come on, wait till your mother
Hmm.
gets here, and then you can go in because I'm not going in there. Like it's just
Oh
one of
yeah.
those things. I'm not doing it.
I can't even look at snakes on TV, to be
Mm-mm.
honest. Like
I hate
I
it.
literally I get the EBGBs. It's just not. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
And my
same.
brothers always they messed with me growing up, so I'm
Yeah,
traumatized for good reasons.
yeah. Three older brothers will do it to you. No
Yep.
doubt about it. And then for this year, what's the one thing? Your season's a little bit different than mine, but what's the one thing you want to improve on in the golf game this year?
My approach shots so much just because I can get close to being there on regulation. However, it's just something about my sandwich and lower. Any club I pick up, it just shoots right. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to over exaggerate and adjust for it and just fix it so I can get closer to the pin. But that's where it just screws me up because then now I'm upset and I rush my putts and I three putt. you
Yep.
know, where it's
Same
like I
exact
just
thing.
need to slow down on my approach. And tonight's like a perfect example with this par three executive we're playing. It's literally all approach shots for me. So
Hmm.
really gonna
Perfect.
tap in.
There you go. That's the same with me though, because I can get the ball out there. I'm pretty good with getting in the fairway. Second shot's all right, but if I end up off the green a little bit, it's that I try to get too fancy and think I can spin it back and pull the string on it, or I try to do a little bump and run and then I skull it across. It's the
Every time.
most inconsistent part of my game. I really feel like if I figure that part out, and when I do chip well, my scores are in the low 80s consistently. When I'm not chipping
Hmm.
well, it's in the high 80s all day, and that's I shoot right around 85 is probably my average. Um,
Yeah.
but the short game is what definitely kills me for sure, for
Felt
sure.
that.
Now, is there anything I missed that you wanted to touch base on? You guys got anything coming up? Any events like that with the Fore Left crew?
Oh my gosh, yeah, we have a tournament we're playing this weekend. Brian and myself are as VIPs and like getting raffled off and playing with teams
Oh,
this
nice. That's
weekend.
cool.
Yeah, and then the next weekend we're playing for Only Golfers tournament. We'll
Nice. I
be in
just had those
there.
guys on. They're awesome. I just dropped that one today.
Yeah, yeah, they're super dope. I'm looking forward to playing at Strawberry Farms with them. It's gonna
That's
be
the launch, right?
amazing. Yep.
Okay. And then I'm assuming 420 you're going out with my boy Michael and the Legends crew.
Yes, sir. Sure
Yeah.
am. So we're
Yeah.
booked and busy this whole month. Like every weekend we're golfing and like look, I cannot complain. I can't
Absolutely
have it
not.
any other way.
Yeah, me and Michael are working on some things. He'll be on the podcast later in the week, so we're going to announce some things that we're working on. Um,
So
Trying to help the Legends crew grow and get the Pitch Putt and Puff crew a little bit bigger too. So nice little collab
mhm.
we're working on.
Yeah, I look
Awesome.
forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out to you guys in like October, November if what I was talking about before doesn't go through out in the West Coast. So I'd love to get out there, get around in with you guys. If you guys ever come to the East Coast, definitely hit me up. I'll
Of
do not
course.
mind traveling. Be great content and a good time to actually get to meet you guys in person, for
Yeah,
sure.
totally. I'll keep you in the loop with that.
Awesome. Audrey, where can they find you?
They can find me at on Instagram and TikTok. It's just Audrey Mittel, AudreyMittel. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. If there's anything else down the road you want to hop on and talk about, feel free to hit me up. Tell the boys this is hello. Good luck out in the course tonight, and we'll talk
Thank
soon.
you. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Take care. That was really dope, Audrey. Hopping on the Pitch Putt and Puff. Thanks for everybody tuning in. We've got some big guests coming up this week. Also for next week, it's going to be not next week, excuse me, but for 420 week, it's going to be purely cannabis based all week long. Got some really dope guests I'm cooking up for you guys, so stay tuned to that. Also, I have to give a shout out to my old man. Um, RGB Senior hooked me up with a nice Pitch Putt and Puff Yeti, custom made. Even got the RGB on the back. Shout out to Pops for that. I appreciate everybody tuning in. We got some heat coming this week, so make sure you check us out on YouTube, all your podcast platforms, and don't forget to check out 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road, Troy, New York, right in the Walmart Plaza, as well as my man at skull-.com. Hooked us up with some dope hats and a bunch of other merch. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll talk soon. Later.